What can I tell you? Let's see, you need to know my mother's people came down from Canada, hence the French last name, which is Namur, same as a town in Belgium, or so I have been told. Sometime in the late 30s, it must have seemed like a good idea to move down from Quebec to California. Jobs waiting, money to be made, plus all that sunshine. Great-grandpa René still spoke French, Mum told me, and he would say her name, Nathalie, the way it is meant to be said, stress on the last syllable. Nobody this side of the border would get it right, or his name either, what with the accent at the end. I think one of the reasons my great-grandpa came down here was so that he would not have to fight the Jerrys if Canada entered the war on the British side. Eventually the Germans waged war on California too, and the one option out became to fight the Japanese rather than the Germans. Not that anyone asked him. In 1944, after boot camp, he shipped out to France because he spoke the language, which does make sense, whatever else you can say about a war fought overseas for someone else and against someone who has no way to reach you unless you reach him first. Come bedtime, he would sometimes talk to Nathalie in French, trying to make her go to sleep, telling her fairy tales and fables, when she was small, that is. He sang to her in French, and once he told her about the war, in English, saying that the Germans had not been worth a damn. Those were his words. The fight had gone out of them. They had not given the good guys much trouble. There seemed to be a touch of regret when he talked about it, as if he had rather had them put up fierce resistance, what with him having come all the way from California. He did not like what he saw of Germany and of her people. Said they had always seemed to him, from what he had read and seen in the newsreels, like someone jumping off the top of a tall building and repeating all the way down that everything was fine so far. By the time he saw for himself, the Germans had surely hit the ground they had seen coming at them fast. And what a mess they had made of things. He did not like it, nor did he like to see people act whipped, when by rights they should have had a whipping coming. It was the Cold War that saved them, he said, and Nathalie mumbled sleepily, "What's a Cold War?" Anyway, he got a Purple Heart for being brave where he was meant to be. Come to think of it, he may have seen the city of Namur while driving Jerry out of Belgium. I would not know. I never met him because he died a long time before I was born, though I still carry his name. And hers, of course, Nathalie's. In case you wonder about this, I will tell you Grandma Lillian took back her maiden name the minute she kicked out Grandpa Louis. Went to the DMV and had her name changed and that of her daughters too while she was at it. By the time Nathalie knew him, the fight had gone out of Great-Grandpa too, if for no better reason than the passage of time. Not that he was much given to fighting in the first place, a well-mannered man who would not speak out when he got mad, but instead would take off his glasses and start wiping them with furious care, or else would leave the room, like in slow-mo, and step out into the yard to cuss away. He would do this in such a way as to be heard indoors, and yet make it possible for those inside to deny having heard, so they would not lose face, or he. Mum told me how one time, when they had gone to Moaning Caves, which is just down the road from here, he had conked his head on a rock jutting overhead, but pretended that nothing had happened, just slicking back his hair meticulously with his comb, blood and all. She said the image had stayed with her like an illustration of his composure, a relic from another time. Sometimes, though, when the muttering in the yard just was not enough to settle things, he would get out his BB gun and take pot shots at marauding cats if he saw any. And whatever else you can say about the place, there sure are plenty of wild cats around.